Hey everyone, Tao here. Hope you're all doing well. So I've titled this video How to Get Better at Art, and I just want to preface this by saying that I wouldn't call myself a master at art. It's just something which I've got a strong passion for, and these are just my ideas which I've collected on the journey to getting better at art. So if you do like the work I produce, or for some reason or another would be interested in my thoughts on the matter, then I hope that this video may be of some use to you. Yeah. So with all that being said, let's get right into it. My biggest tips, which are purely anecdotal, would be these. Number 1, start and draw whenever you can. 2, to compare, but do it in a positive way. 3 would be to ask yourself what art is to you and what you want from it. Number 4 would be to learn and keep learning. And lastly, number 5 would be don't give up. So those are the main points in a nutshell, which I'll be explaining in depth. So let's do this. Point number 1, which is the first step, and that is to start. And it's to start, but knowing that you're not going to get it right on the first go. So don't get me wrong, you could create an absolutely amazing first piece of work, and everyone would call you a prodigy for it. But I would argue that you won't be the best you can possibly be at something the first time you do it. Now, with art, the beauty in it is that you can always become better at it. And I say that in terms of technique, as well as application, because I'm a firm believer that art is subjective. And saying that, start. Draw anything and everything, as much as or as little as you want. Just don't be afraid of a blank piece of paper. Moving on to point number 2, which is comparison is the thief of joy. Alright, so nowadays with the internet, we're surrounded by art, and one thing which I would do constantly would be compare myself and my art to that of others. Now, because I did this, I developed this idea of pretty much not being good enough, that my thoughts you just hear the cat going ballistic in the background. Alright, well yeah, back to it. So the thoughts that I wasn't good enough, and I wouldn't draw because I never thought that I could be as good at art as the artist that I looked up to, which would sound, and it is, stupid, because by not drawing at all, I have a 100% chance of not improving, but if I do try and keep at it, then I've got a shot. And yeah, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right? Yeah, that's very applicable. Now, since I felt like I couldn't help myself comparing, I stopped and I really thought about it, and I asked myself, is comparing really a bad thing? I mean, to the point where it becomes crippling, yeah, but could I use it to grow? And the answer was yes. So now I look at the art of others and I'm inspired by it. It's helped me increase the standards that I hold for myself, and it's also helped me learn a lot. So as an artist, I don't look at a work and say, I can't do that. Instead, I say, how can I do that? And I work towards that. Which brings me to a sub-point, which is a topic which people can get a bit weird about, and that's copying. Now, my thoughts on this are that there's a difference between copying and stealing. When you copy and you try to recreate someone else's work, you learn and you improve. Now, stealing is when you do that and you don't credit the original work and artist. So don't be afraid of copying. One can argue that everything is simply a copy. And if you do decide to copy other people's work, I would encourage trying to put your own spin on them, as well as seeing them as study pieces instead. So when you copy other people's art, really look at what they've done and start to peel away at the layers. It's easy to look at a final piece and just feel daunted or overwhelmed and think that you can't ever do that. But if you just focus on small areas of the piece at a time and you really look at them without this idea of it being impossible, then you can kind of break the art down into steps, and all that's left is to walk them. Now moving on to point number 3. Identify what art is to you. And I want to start by saying that your mind and your body are amazing, and just take a moment to really let that sink in. So we're constantly improving at the things which we do consistently, and that's because our brains undergo a physical change where we build new neural pathways which make us best as we possibly can be at the task which we decide to invest our time in. Now, this may come across as a bit extreme, like, whoa, I just clicked on this video to pick up a few tips on how to get better at art. But what I mean by identifying what art is to you, I say this and ask that because it's important, and it's something which you're deciding to invest your time in. And that is a finite resource. So if it's something you want to decide to make a living off doing, then identifying what it is to you and why you do it will keep you consistent. And being consistent to it is so important when you think about improvement. So kind of like what I'm trying to do with my own YouTube videos. I should really put out more videos. Yeah, that's that in a nutshell. Now, point number 4 and 5. To learn and keep learning and not to give up. Now, if you've identified what you want from art, be it a hobby or something which you want to do for a living, and you've really got that figured out, then you've got a solid foundation, something to fall on when you feel like giving up and stopping. So you won't need someone to tell you to keep on learning or to not give up, because you'll develop that internally for yourself. And if someone is forcing you to draw, then I bet you're not going to keep at it. It'll just be a chore to you. So yeah, all of that kind of just ties in together. Find out your why and then you're good. So art for me has become about the journey. I used to be so fixated on creating what I thought was good art, and I wouldn't post a piece or I wouldn't show anyone my work if it wasn't what I thought was the best it could be. And well, being a perfectionist in a way, which paralyzed me. So somewhere along the line, I seem to have forgotten the joy in actually creating a piece. So it's all about having fun doing it. And after I realized that, I began to revert back to focusing on the journey. And all of my pieces are typically done in one setting. So when I draw, I zone out, and it's kind of like a form of meditation to me. The finished piece becomes more for the viewer, and as for the process, well, that's mine. Yeah, so those are the 5 points which I've found to be important to me in my art journey, and I hope you found some use in those words. Yeah, maybe I went through that too quick. Well, here's some more art advice, which is a bit more personal. I guess I'm very fortunate in regards to having a full-time job as an artist, creating murals and graphic designing. But before that, I wasn't pursuing a career in art at all, and I was just very comfortable and lazy in life. Well, I guess this part goes out to everyone, but mainly content creators, people that are looking to get their art out there. Thinking about it, it's a bit more like, I don't know, saying life advice seems a bit much, but it's more an observation of an area of my life. Take what you would like from it. So for the longest time, I would find that I had no clear-cut goal, and it felt like I was just drifting. I would look to immediate sources of gratification, like gaming or watching too much anime or reading too much manga. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that those things are bad. It's just that I dedicated way too much of my time and life to them, and for the time I invested in them, what exactly did I have to show for it? I think it's this, well, it played a huge role in lower parts of my life. There were many moments where I would feel like I was just lacking in purpose, and I'm not sure how many other people feel that. Maybe quite a few. Yeah, so there's quite a few people that are content with 9 to 5s and just getting their hit of dopamine off a game later, or through substance abuse. But there was this point where I decided that I didn't want that, and that wasn't for me. So I want to lead a life which I feel like I'm doing something, at least taking a step each day in the direction of my main goal. So to get to a point where I can be proud of the things that I do and look back at them all with a smile. So it's all about being active, being productive, and most importantly, knowing what your why is, or what you want out of all this. Yeah. Alright, if you've made it this far, hi! We're nearing the end of the video. Oh, another tip would be to watch speed drawing videos, just to pause and draw along with the artist. I know I could seem like I've got some ulterior motive as I'm trying to grow my own channel and all, but watching and learning from speed drawing videos really helped me out quite a lot, and it might help you out too. So yeah, do that if you want. Yeah. I just realized that usually in my videos I would talk about my drawings and go through the process. So real quick, this is a self-portrait which I did using pencils. I got a new set of pencils and I wanted to try them out. Another good tip actually is to draw yourself. So if you take photos of yourself, you can use that as a good reference, and it's a good way to build up original work as well. So really learning how to draw yourself, that can translate into drawing other people and faces. And I mean, I still do this all the time, so if I want to practice on drawing hand gestures as well as basic anatomy, I would pretty much just take a photo, draw, and it doesn't have to be a perfect sketch, just get some rough lines down and really focus on getting form or motion. And yeah, also nowadays, since we have the internet and YouTube, there is an abundance of knowledge about drawing, and you can find all these tutorials online that back in the day you'd have to go to a class. So we're living in this really great age where all this knowledge is easily accessible and it's free, so take full advantage of that. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope that this video has helped you out in some way. I know that the points were rather general, or like broad in a sense, but hopefully you've taken something from them which you can also translate to other areas of your life. And I also love seeing different art, so if you'd like me to have a look at your art and give my opinion, then reach out to me either on here or Instagram. I'd love to hear from you. This is my first video like this, so I'd appreciate any feedback which would help me improve. So just drop a comment below on things that I could have done better, or if you have any questions in regards to any of the tips. And if you want to see more videos like this, then please consider subscribing and liking the video. You don't have to, it's just a click which helps me grow the channel. Either way, I hope you have an awesome day. Thanks for watching. Bye.